Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Doing well. I'm excited to hear how everything went. I'm assuming yesterday, but real quick before we jump into it, I just want to let y'all know I do have a hard stop at 10:30 my time, which I believe is 12:30 your time. I
Yes.
have to leave for a doctor's appointment. So just FYI, so we're all on the same page there. But yes, please tell me how everything went with the employee that we talked through on Monday.
Well, we decided we didn't fire him yet. So
Like how you say yet.
yet, but
Yet.
yesterday I had a little emotional morning meeting as a human being as well. So all the information I have been receiving from last Friday through Monday, that yesterday I decided to speak up, and I was very clear. Like I said, I know today is it was a transitional. It was a transitional. Winning is today. Yesterday.
No, today's Wednesday.
Yeah, but yesterday, what day was Tuesday?
Transformational Tuesday.
Yeah. So I said, in order to move forward, I like to be honest with my team, and I'm very disappointed. I heard so many things that I don't think it's fair to us as a business owner. I understand we are not perfect, but I want to be very clear that we will not accept, will be zero tolerance for team members that are against our organization uh, or either against us or say bad things about the organization. And I don't care how many years of company you have, you're going to be fired. Moving forward, this is the way it's going to be. But I cried. That's the worst part. I hate it because I got so emotional. And I said, this is not right to us. And then I know we are not perfect, but we are here to make this company successful with you guys. We want you to succeed as well. But in order to do that, we will need to be a team, right? We need to work together. And it was a quiet meeting, very quiet. But today is a new day. I feel so much better this morning. And
Yeah, we still have the cancers. We know now.
Yeah.
We know for sure the three because one went up and one came up. Other than the person we were firing, and I would be honest with you, as far as fire, I would love to have all these three people out today. If we do, we're gonna have a big impact in revenue. So we have to put a plan in place to move them out of the corporation before the end of the year.
you think so?
I think so. Yeah, of course. I mean, one came up yesterday, the machinist came up to Patricia, said, well, because she even talked about profit share that was a mistake on our end and we didn't talk about it. And
Oh yeah, I forgot that part.
so there was a bunch of, anyways, and so one of the ones that we knew was a cancer also came up to try to explain,
Like, oh, you have to be careful.
almost like explaining
Yes,
himself,
like,
but saying
what you heard.
the other guys might think this way. So you know when somebody's already.
So what happened with the
It's funny how people.
yeah, they think
It's
we're
funny that
stupid.
the ones that look like shit the next day, you know that they are the ones, and everybody else like it's a different day, right?
Mhm.
Nothing happens to them. Yeah, but the
Oh,
ones
they're
that,
happy, right?
yeah,
Like,
like,
but they no.
yeah, but it's like, like the three people that we know for a fact are leading other people or saying bad things about it. They act different.
But
Everybody else is the same.
Carlos, but we know, Joe, for sure. I think I don't know if it's just the Brazilian community, but I think it's everywhere in any country. They will complain. There will be people that they will complain, but the only thing I don't think it's nice to be the bad person, or to tell the new employees like this is not a good environment, or this is not a good work for you. But what he's doing here, come on, if you're not happy.
Right.
And I said yesterday, you are allowed to quit. You're allowed to quit. You can quit today and find another job. I'm not. Me and Carlos, we have to be here. This is our duty. and we work
Right.
for you guys, which is true, right? They can quit. So I had to be very honest. So yesterday I said about the profit share. So what happened is in June we thought we had a profit share. So I checked the books, everything was look beautiful. I said, oh my goodness, so we'll be able to share this profit. So it was about $19,000 that we shared. But after Renata revised, I know I learned from the mistake. It will never happen again. So Renata said, Patricia, have you check your profit and loss and your gross net? It's different than the number you provide me. And she relocated some payrolls that was on the wrong account. It was, anyways. So I decided not to tell anyone. I said, you know what, I'm not going to tell anyone now. I don't want to scare anyone, but I did a mistake. I was supposed to be honest. I said, by the time I was supposed to tell the truth, like, oh, what happened? I made a mistake. And then unfortunately, there wasn't any profit share for that month. So we will split this and do the deductions, or wait for the next month to have a profit share again, and we can do the deduction, right? And then I heard that they said, oh, Carlos and Patricia, I don't get it why they're not raising everyone. Remember, $1 per employee. I don't think it's going to affect them. And I have to say this. I said it in Portuguese. I said, well, we are so bad. Then in June, we had a profit share that wasn't right. And I never told you guys. So it was $19,000 that we shared with it wasn't, wasn't supposed to share this money. And they didn't say anything. So I had just a guy came today and said, Patty, I'm sorry that you had to go through this. And he said the $600 that we are, if they refer employee after 6 months, we will reward them with $600. 500. And he said, I don't want the money. I want you to keep this money because that's not fair to the company. He said, don't worry. So thank you for your, your offer, but it was my fault. Yeah, this is what happened this past couple days. But today that's what I told Tiago. I said it's a new day. I'm ready for today. And moving forward, looking forward. That's it.
Okay. So that was in a like a team meeting type thing. Am I understanding that right?
Yes,
Okay.
team meeting.
Did we have like a one-on-one yet with that specific employee that we're
Not yet.
ultimately likely wanting to exit? Okay. Are
What
we
do you think? We should?
Personally, yes.
Three?
I mean, yeah, I would.
Okay.
Reason I say that is, the belief system currently, at least, is he is likely the biggest difficulty or problem child, for lack of a better way to put it, that we have. And if we don't directly nip it in the butt, then it can either escalate and infect other people even more, or the alternative is, he blatantly disrupts things even more so than he's already doing, because now, well, they're getting on to everybody in a meeting. Now I'm going to like accelerate my negativity and do things even more egregious than he might currently be doing.
I don't know. You think the way I see the message I pass, even though I know they can forget it, right? But I think they can be afraid for a couple of days. Not, like, let me just be quiet. I'm not going to complain. Or there's some complaints, which is normal, right? You can complain, oh, today this part it sucks. It's hard to bend. It's a normal situation.
Sure.
But yes, I agree. I think I have to talk individual. So the specific 3 members, but I need to know, how do I start this conversation? Should I be honest and say, like, listen, I believe you are the one of them, and be very specific. we don't want team members like this on our organization, but I have to be ready, because if I feel frustrated, I'm gonna fire this person,
Right.
depending
Yeah,
on
I'm not saying you need to go out and have that conversation like right now,
okay,
or anything like that, but I do think it's something we need to plan to do
okay,
sooner rather than later.
right,
So whenever that is, like today's Wednesday, right? So like if we plan to have it by the end of the week or very early next week,
uh-huh,
you're probably okay. Because to your point, they may calm down for a day or two, but if nothing else comes from it, they're just
Right.
going to revert back to old habits, right?
right, I agree. Huh,
Okay.
nice. Yeah,
In terms of like how, because I think you asked like how do I start, or what do I
yeah,
say at the beginning? Um, I think there's two different ways to go about it, and it's based on ultimately what you're trying to achieve in the conversation. Like if the achievement goal is we want to get to a place where we can at least get out the most we can get from this employee from now until the end of the year, and look to exit them at some point between now and then over the next 6 weeks, then maybe it's a slightly softer conversation.
okay,
Still direct that we
yes,
need this to change, but a little bit softer tone, that kind of a thing. If it's like we're going into it and 99% we're going to separate at the end of this conversation unless some like magical thing occurs, then it's way more direct, it's way shorter, it's way sweeter. It's kind of similar to the little like role play thing that we did on Monday, where it's like,
Yeah.
I already know you're doing this. I just need you to say that you are, so I can at least to a point agree and understand what you're saying. Because all
mhm,
I'm hearing is right now it's third parties. I want to hear from you. So don't tell me
mhm,
you're not saying it, because I know you are.
mhm,
Let's get past that BS part and let's get to a place where we know what you're saying, but I want to know specifically what it is so that I have the opportunity to address it. And then depending
love
on
it,
what they say, you can say, well, you know what, or we've given you multiple chances. We've had this conversation in the past about your negativity and it's obviously not changing. So like, let's just separate and move on. So again, totally dependent on what you're trying to get out of the conversation. Are you trying to buy time, or are you trying to like, let's move forward now? Depending
yeah,
on which way you want to go, I think depends on what you say and how you say it more so than what you say.
got it. But I love the approach. I really love the approach. So, for being honest, I know it's you. I want to know from you why you're doing this.
It's not if you're doing it. I know you're
Yeah.
doing it. I
Yes,
want to
I
understand
like
what it
that.
is specifically and why. Why
Hmm.
you feel like it's better to badmouth me to others than just to come to me. Why did you even jump to that conclusion that would be acceptable?
Nice, like it. Perfect. I
All
love the
right.
grindancy. I love the grindancy. It works well. So thank you.
Of course. What I'm here for. See,
Mhm.
like, yeah, I think you said the other day, business therapy or something like
Oh
that.
my gosh, I think you guys should name it the business therapy. It's just amazing.
Let's see, we can add on, instead of BMLP,
Oh,
which
you're
is
writing
Business Mastery Leadership Program, we can do BTLP, Business
PTSD.
Therapy Leadership Program
Oh
or something like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and like the thing with all, I would say one of them can be,
What?
it wouldn't make as much impact as the other two. Like the machinist will
Oh,
definitely make a
Gilberto,
big
yeah.
impact.
I think I should call him first.
Yeah.
He's coachable.
Walker is that something we need to exit him. If we exit yesterday, we would have so we need to have people that can do some bending. Laser cutting is fine. We can find people to laser cut. There's one machine that same thing. This the machinist and him know how to operate, which is our plastic machine. So even this morning, I told our ops and production supervisor to start training somebody else on that machine. I didn't mention anything as far as letting them go or let these persons go, but just having somebody training on that machine in particular. So we have,
A backup, right?
so we can start building, going to that point. The machining side, we need to get another person here, as we are getting busy on the machining. And we're getting busy with our best accounts. So that would hurt our best accounts. Right
Question,
now,
how long would it take generally for someone to learn that machine?
Depends, right?
The laser cutting plastics, it should not take that long. It should be in, let's say, a couple of weeks for somebody to be comfortable if they are running that machine all the time.
Okay.
Especially if it's somebody that's been laser cutting. So it's more, it's the language will be familiar.
Got it.
The more challenging place will be getting somebody on the machining side.
I was just curious, like realistically, how long it would take for us to kind of get somebody up to speed.
Yeah. Yeah, from somebody that's already here, laser cutting, it should be a couple of weeks to be safe. And then as we have jobs, we go and work together to make it work. And it's not something that, I mean, it's part of a few jobs that we've been doing. Definitely not as much as on the price break side, same thing. Need to have somebody on board. I can do some stuff. Gil can do some stuff. I think even Leosin was training at some point because we had that idea. We need to train somebody to do the price break. So we can either move Walker from another position in the company.
Well, the good thing is about Walker, I'm sorry to interrupt you. The next, if anything happened during the procedure or any misbehave during work or anything, he's out. We're not going to tolerate anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so the
We would take a hit.
yeah. So we won't.
We will have a financial hit at some point. We will have to move quickly to
Exactly.
plug that hole.
But yes, I think the conversation will help because he will know that we know, right? And I have no problem now. I think I'm more stronger than before. I have no problem fire or say what I like to say it, but on the business side, not being rude for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't
But I'm
have to
not
be-
afraid. Before I was not afraid, but it was out of my comfort zone, you know. Nobody likes to fire anyone. But in this case, if he's affecting anyone in my organization, it's affecting my business, you're
Right.
out. Why am I gonna deal with this? You know what I mean? I can go downstairs. I don't know how to bend, but I can go downstairs and deburr pieces. I love it. To be honest, I like sometimes to go downstairs and hands-on. It's different. But yes, I'm not going to tolerate anymore. If I feel like they're not doing a great job, I'm gonna call them, I'm gonna talk to them. Of course, I'll be open to be
Yeah, we
suggestions.
just for more, we did let the programmer go. That was the done deal. He's
Yes,
out.
yesterday.
He left yesterday, was his last day. So
Okay.
that's-
That was the newer guy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
he told me that he wasn't feeling comfortable with the coach after he wasn't expecting the fired yesterday. And I said, do you have any questions? I know I'm not supposed to ask that, but I was like, I want to know. Do you have any
Right.
questions? And he's like, he took a while to answer. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I
he
did a
can
great
give
choice.
you-
I
yeah.
did a great choice.
he
firing
cannot
him.
answer you.
I didn't get it. He's so, I don't know. Anyway, so he said, well, to be honest, I wasn't feeling comfortable doing quotes. And I asked him why you never said to Carlos. And so I assumed that he got it. Like I said, but have you told him? No, I said, how do we know? Really? So,
Yeah. Can't read minds. Last time I checked, none of us can read minds.
Well,
right?
We can read
Unbelievable.
body language, but that's about the extent of it.
Yeah, and he's 37, and you know, and I said to him like 2 weeks ago, I called you and we went over all your 30 days, and you never mentioned anything. So, so make sure to speak up, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
But I was happy that we fired him yesterday. It was bad, but at the same time, you know,
yeah, it did not make an impact.
yeah.
That's 100%. If nobody's making an impact, we have no issues. letting them go. Impact to our revenue, impact to our team. Yes, we have people impacting our team in a negative way. We need to exit them out as soon as possible.
Yeah, I agree. If they're that kind of a answer is the terminology we've used in the past, then yeah, we need to exit them sooner rather than later, if at all possible.
Mhm. We should.
Who can train at the price break? Is that Fabian?
Yeah, he's training.
Fabian?
He was training there. On the
Yeah,
price break.
Wilson Fabian. Yeah, his first name
Yeah,
is
it's
Wilson.
Wilson. His name is Wilson. Wilson Fabian something. I'll call him Wilson.
So I had
That's his
two.
first
We
name.
had two employees that I talked last week from downstairs. They want to move upstairs. They want to do a programmer. They want to work with the quotes. And I said, okay, that's good to know. So
Yeah.
I just told
I
Carlos.
mean, the other thing that the other thing we've been talking is when we do a daily team, everybody's in, and we're talking numbers. So let's say today my shipping day was 100,000. So for some of them, they don't see anything else other than 100,000 is a lot of money because the most they made was 30, and they are collecting this in one day. So that mentality is here. We know it's here. It happens here.
Mhm. Since we started.
And that creates friction.
A lot. For
Unfortunately,
production.
it is the mentality that some of those will have. Instead of thinking
Right.
about, wow, yeah, we were able to get this much, so let's just keep doing this so I can keep growing with the company. Company's growing, company's making money. It's not like they're not. I think it's because they're not seeing.
On their
It's not
payroll
impacting
for them.
their paychecks when they get, next week. They don't see, they see that number, but it doesn't impact anything on their paychecks.
Right. I mean, yeah, we're gonna have to get into that when we get to a place where we're doing, incentive compensation structures
Right.
and things like that. Which I know we need to get to, and we probably need to get to sooner rather than later. We got to kind of get through the whole KPI and metrics process or procedure that we began last week. Because we had company metrics, and I think they're very good, and we're consistently tracking them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The next step was how do we narrow that into a department, and then we can define who is in those departments, and what individual metrics within that should we be tracking by person. And every person in the same department might have the same 3 to 5 metrics, or if you have 3 different people, there might be slightly different metrics for each of them, just depending on what specifically within the department they're doing. So I think that's a good segue if y'all want to pivot over to talking metrics and KPI.
Yeah, we have not even touched that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I just talked to Carlos. Said, "Oh my gosh, we didn't do the 2 to 3." And I took the note, but it was so much going on that, to be honest, we forgot to do it. I had in the list, but we did the other stuff.
Okay. Well, let's get into the other stuff. We'll come back to the KPIs and metrics and stuff next week.
Okay.
All right. So where do you want to pivot over or transition into from our last call?
So we were talking about the machinist job, the sales estimator, profit sharing, job description, and individual metrics. We talk about all those things. Department metrics 3 to 5. So once we have those, we can create 2 to 4 individual metrics.
You got it.
They'll segue into an employee maturity model. And we can keep moving forward. So we just got to pick one of those things, like say, which plane we need to land right now. That's where we are. We got to land a plane.
This is not my one. Sorry.
I love that y'all are like taking some of the vernacular from last week. Landed. What plane needs to be landed right now?
Well, we need to. It's pretty much we can, like, I even talked to Jeff. Say, Jeff, I like the marketing. I like how it will impact, because sales and marketing, that's how you bring customers in. Otherwise, you just get stuck to where we are today. But we have but we also have to think about our operations. We need to have the right people when they look at numbers on a daily meeting, they are happy about it, they're not frustrated that they're only making 40,000 a year and the company is getting 40,000 cash
Yep.
collected in a day.
Yep.
So that's what it is. That's what's going on here. And we need to turn this around because it's either turn it around or do it different. There's no other way. Either we do a different type of meeting because we want to avoid this friction, give them, still give metrics based, but a different way of delivering the message on the metrics. Like today I put on, because I said every week I'll do I'll let you know where we are as far as from target to percentage to target. So I did not put numbers. I just put percentage. We are 16% of 100%. So we need 84% to hit target. And so I had those numbers first. So that's where we are based on yesterday numbers, metrics from reaching our monthly targets. And then at the bottom, we had the daily targets where, you have our MQL, quotes, orders, rush. But that's not the first, even,
Mhm.
and that's not even,
Emily came to me, you already mentioned about this. She came from
construction.
construction that she worked to two companies with like 50 employees, and she said, Patricia, it's unbelievable. We have no idea when we share any number, they don't know the back, how much it costs to maintain, how much was the payroll. So it created so much conflict. And she said, this is my point of view. Of course, this is your company, but she said as accounts payable and working with her past 25 years, she said, I don't see as a positive, even though for me, I do see numbers all the time, so
but
it's normal for
that's
me.
part of her job.
Exactly.
She's a
But for
bookkeeper.
them that they are making, that she actually used the same explanation as Carlos. And we had Leoson too. He worked with like 100 employees, right? Company was around that much, and it was a blueprint as well. And he's like, blue collar, yeah. I don't know why I said blueprint, but yeah. So, and then it's not just that, they're Brazilians too. So it's even worse, I think. Our culture is just crazy though. They don't feel happy, just the business owners driving a nice car. I would love to have my boss driving a nice car and and having a great company, making sure we're making more money. But anyways,
Investing in the company so it can grow.
exactly.
I don't think it's a cultural thing. It's just the
You don't
people we
think
have
so?
here. No, it's the people we have here.
Maybe.
Because the culture that we have today, it's where it is. Because if we are transparent, we are sharing those numbers. I'm not sharing 100% of the behind, because they're seeing what we're collecting and what we're spending. So it's different.
Yeah, I think there's probably a fairly
Yeah.
middle ground you have to find there. Like,
We have to find a middle
we
ground.
don't hear what payroll dollar amount we're spending at Cardone every day or every week during our meetings, right? I don't know.
No.
But
I do know like how much sales are being brought in. I know like cash collected. I know collections percentages, like accounts, AR balances, like those dollar amounts are shared. And then it's individual department is the rest of the meeting. Like we always kick off. I'm sure y'all sat in on some of the Wednesday meetings for Cardone's, right? So like we always start off with like the marketing side. So like what are we doing to lead generate? How many leads were generated the previous day from whatever campaigns and advertising we may be doing? Then it immediately goes into sales. So it's what did we bring in new sales wise, and who were the top performers within that? And then it goes over to the accounts payable and accounts receivable team, how much cash has been collected. And if you want to go dollar amount, you certainly can. I think they generally do a percentage. They'll share dollar amounts, but on Wednesdays, I know they don't share dollar amounts. They just do percent to target or percent to goal, and where we compare to our benchmark month or prior month, something like that. and then it's immediately into the departments. You know, where's platform doing, what's events doing, what's SPU doing, all of that.
But I see different. I see the type of organization and the people that are working for Cordones, they're different than our production floor. It is different, totally different. So look, your guys' background, right? You had a company before, you know how that works. It doesn't affect you to hear that the company had a 500,000 cash collector. You're gonna be happy to know that your company making money. The company you work for is making money. So when we had a conversation before, like we check all their background, like, oh, did you finish college? So most of them did not. So it makes a big difference for sure.
Yeah, we need to tailor it to our audience. I mean, I agree with you
How do you
there.
say the tip what?
Taylor.
Tailor it to the
Tailor.
audience.
Yeah.
You know, like if I go back to what I was doing right before Cardone, it was landscaping, so it was extremely blue collar workers. You know, that I think is a little bit more similar to the team that you all have. And you're right, we didn't go through that. We still had daily meetings every single day, but it was way more them specific. And safety was a big thing in landscaping. Like they're using all this different equipment and they're, you know, driving around in trucks and stuff like that. So like everything every day had some kind of safety thing that went on with it. And we went, you know, kind of round robin around topics on a daily basis, not just repeating the same thing over and over again. But when it comes to performance metrics, it was, I mean, we had a way to track the metrics and we identified very similarly to what we do at Cardone, like highest level, what is the company trying to achieve? We break it down into departments, which to us were basically maintenance and construction was really the two quote unquote. We had the irrigation as well. I guess technically you could call them a department. But then after that, it was quote unquote individual. And we broke that down into crews because our crews could be 3 to 5 people per crew. And it was all isolated around how is each crew performing compared to their peers, because we recognized that like kind of peer pressure was a way to intensify or increase their productivity. So we figured out a way to easily track them, which the thing they could control the most was their labor to budget. So it was strictly labor to budget because not every crew had the same number of people. Not every crew had the same type of jobs. They were all doing different stuff, right? But they all had a budget, and how close are you to that budget was something that could be very easily kind of explained. You're at 95%, you're at 80%. 80% is lower, and we're looking for a lower number. And when it comes to labor budget, we want to use less labor if possible. So between safety and labor to budget, like we created a competition. So there's a leaderboard like on the TV behind us as we were talking through every morning, that ranked, like force ranked all the crews compared to each other. So
interesting.
My thought in saying all of that is you all have maybe not necessarily crews where there's more than one person working together to complete one particular job, but to a degree you do.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning to end of a ticket or a work order for your customers, there's more than one person working on that. Like it's a collective team effort. So if we look through it through that lens, we can start to figure out a way once we get to department and individual metric, like how do we gamify this? I think the natural tendency for most human beings is like there's a competitive bone in everybody. Some people have it a little stronger than others. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Carlos is pretty competitive. I don't care if we're playing Monopoly or golf or whatever. Tell me if I'm wrong there. That's just an outside assessment. But
I hate losing. I'm just like
see,
I'm not gonna play something if I know I'm gonna lose. I'm like Sam.
Oh, really?
If I don't know, I'm not gonna play
Interesting.
because I hate losing.
Yes.
Wait, what's your favorite sport? I'm just curious. Is it
It's tennis.
soccer, tennis? Okay. So I'm gonna go out on a limb. I don't know tennis very well, so you might have to help me out just a little bit, but I'm gonna try. Okay.
Mhm.
How many tennis matches have you been to where you watched, not participated, but observed, was in the audience?
None.
None. Okay. How many have you participated where you were in the game, whether it was solo or what do they call it, doubles, where it's two of you?
Yeah, very few, but one, younger, one was younger.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Like, are we talking like less than 5, 50, like
yeah.
ballpark
Yeah,
number?
probably
How many?
around 50 that I played, not tournaments, but games. Let's say we played games with friends and yeah.
Okay. So now I'm going to pivot, Patricia, when it comes to tennis. A, do you like tennis?
If I know how to play, yes. I just started some clinics to be able to play with my family, but
Okay.
I love swimming.
Okay. So let's stay on the tennis thing. We'll come to the
Okay,
swimming in a minute.
sure.
But so until recently, you were not as engaged in tennis as Carlos, who's been doing it since a child,
Mm-hmm,
right? So
mm-hmm.
that's our team members. Like if we gamified what we do on a day in, day out basis, there's some people who like has been doing this for a very long time, and there's some people who are just now beginning to learn.
Like me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And here's the piece. So I'm going to go back to Carlos for a second because you've actually been in matches, whether it was practice or competition.
Hmm.
I think they're called matches. Please correct me if I'm
Yep.
using wrong vernaculars here, but how easily was it for you as a player in that match to know what the score was?
It was, yeah. I knew this.
Fairly easy.
Yeah.
Super easy. Not for me.
Okay. Okay. Um, if you had a match right now, even if you hadn't done one in years, if you were to go to a tennis match right now and play against somebody else,
Mhm.
and 30 minutes into the match, how difficult would it be for you to figure out what the score was?
Not much.
Not much. If Patricia was watching you in that match, how difficult would it be for Patricia to know what the score was?
Well,
Difficult because I don't
yeah.
know how to do the counting. I mean,
Is there a scoreboard anywhere where like it
oh
would be
yes,
Correct.
tracked?
yes. Then
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I think it'll be
So,
easy so I can see. Yeah.
so for someone who has been doing it for a much longer time period, you may not need the scoreboard. You just know what the score is, especially if you're playing, right?
Mhm.
You
True.
just know what the score is. But for someone who is learning or maybe not as experienced as someone else, having some level of visual to understand where we are at in our game is exceptionally important to maintain engagement
Right.
Mhm.
because it's very difficult to stay engaged and want to win. And what do I got to do next if I don't even know if I'm winning or losing at a given moment, especially if I'm a newer person that just doesn't instinctually know, well, I'm 1 point away from winning or whatever it is in this tennis match. Like if I don't know that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that, right?
Yep.
So I think we do have to get. My opinion is we need to maybe prioritize the metrics at the next call or two together because we
Mhm.
have got to get to a place where we understand what does winning look like for every team member.
Right.
We can guess if they're winning right now, but we don't have a way to say with 100%
Yeah.
certainty that someone outside of your organization could look at and agree with you
Yep.
if whoever, name some employee that works for you, if they are winning or losing at their job. We don't really have a way to say yay or nay to that.
No.
And when we get there, I think that's the way we can drive engagement, we can drive culture, we can drive people to want to work harder, especially when we get to the employee maturity model and the incentive compensation that all tie together with it. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Totally. And how about the numbers we provide in the morning? Should we just
But we get other numbers, like probably stay with what you're doing. But I mean, the second we have departmental metrics like identified and a way for us to track them pretty consistently, then maybe we begin the process of pivoting from talking about high level company download of information to more
Mhm.
departmental specifics. And then ultimately, as we get into the individual level, we're going to have to figure out a way to not break confidentiality, but we do want to have a way in which everyone can be compared to each other so that that instinctual competitiveness comes out in them. So I think there'll probably be a couple of evolutions is the short answer to your question on
Yeah.
these morning meetings.
Mhm.
Right now, I probably say keep doing what you're doing. Within the next week to 2 weeks, maybe post Thanksgiving or something, we can start talking through the departmental metrics so that the team begins to understand what we're tracking and why. And then however long it takes us, another week or two after that, to have it all the way down to every single employee, know what it is, have a way to track it and be tracking it consistently. So then whatever, fast forward in time, sometime before Christmas, we are having that as a more directional thing. And then we'll figure out how do we marry all those together. What company stuff do we need to talk about? Because there needs to be
Yes.
something. What department mental stuff needs to be talked about? Because there needs to be something. And
Yep.
how do we have the individual stuff, not so much to like shame the people at the bottom. That's going to happen whether we say anything or not.
Yeah.
But it's a way for us to recognize the top performers. I mean, we do that every morning, right? Like there's the top 3 salespeople are recognized every single morning. There is a different platform team that shares the win and is recognized, and there's a different SBU team every single day.
That's
Like
nice.
there's a way for recognition to occur. And it's not difficult to know if so-and-so's name isn't ever said for weeks on end, like they're not a top performer. Like nobody has to tell me that, right? I
Yeah.
just know like John Smith has not been talked about in 4 weeks. He must not be doing very good. Like I don't have to
Yeah.
have my boss tell me that John's not very good. Like I can just tell every morning, like he's not sharing wins. He's not talking. He's not performing. He didn't upsell somebody. He didn't have this great win with this client where he broke through some kind of difficulty that they were having. Like nothing ever happens with John. John probably he needs help. Like, hey John, how's it going?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we need to get to a place in which we can do that, but we got to break through the departmental barrier in order to get there.
I know, but I still not like the idea of sharing. I don't think they need to know the cash collect or even the ship out. They should know the percentage. Okay, we are
Percentage is fine.
kind of like we can change it. It's our company. I don't care anymore. It's just I know
You just got to give them like a North Star on it.
Yeah.
Like we are 40% of the way through the month and we are 30% of cash collected to target.
But just Joe, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but just because we already have been so clear and open to everyone, they will start asking like, why you guys not doing the cash collect anymore? They're gonna ask. I know.
So tell them the first time, like, hey, we're going to start talking through some other metrics. So as a result, like some of the stuff where we were sharing dollar amounts, we're going to start talking about percentages just so that we have the opportunity to talk through all these new things. So cash collected, we're now going to take a look at it from a percentage perspective. 40% through the month, we're 30% target. We're a little bit behind.
Like it.
And then the new thing we're going to talk about is blah, blah, blah. And here's
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. Are you okay with that too?
My
Okay.
webcam's going crazy. Once I'm still here, I
No,
promise.
you're trying to share your screen?
No, I'm gonna
Oh,
show
okay.
you something that we have here. Let me show you here.
And then I know we wanted to talk the 2 jobs that we got the job descriptions
I got that
reviewed by the
open
HR
here.
team. Okay.
Yeah.
So that way we
This
can
is-
get those posted hopefully next couple of days or something.
Yeah. So there's a dashboard, production dashboard. What it means is
Mhm.
everything that got completed yesterday. This is go by day. Refreshed every 10 minutes. Actually, this one is today. So these are jobs that are being closed by machine or department. So that relies heavily on how they clock in and clock out. I mean, the numbers are the number of parts completed. And then you have this, what we were talking about as far as efficiency, actual versus estimated time. So this is something that definitely want to have something similar by individual metrics and departments like this, where we can have this real time, real data live.
Yeah, this is virtually, visually at least, very, very similar to what we had at the landscaping company. So like we used the high level department. So like the maintenance department
Mhm.
had the pie chart looking thing that you have. So like, how are we pacing towards the total either dollar amount or labor target or whatever metric was visually being tracked? And then
Mhm.
the bar graphs that you have, which is the bottom row there, those
Yeah.
were individual people. And there was two of them. So one of them was their budget and one of them was their actual. So if your actual was above your budget, you're not good. If you're below, you're all right. And it was like automatically force rank where the best performing person was to the far left and the worst performing person was to
Yeah.
the far right. So it was an easy visual once it was explained to the team what those two bars mean. And you want to be further to the left than you do to the right.
Correct.
After saying that a few times, it wasn't hard for, like, we had people walking up to the screen, like taking pictures of it with their phone when they finally got to the far left because they wanted to, share it with their family or whatever. Like it was a celebrationary moment. So the fact that we have this is great and it will help once we have like the metrics in a way to actually, track them and stuff.
Yeah, we'll see how we track that through the new software. Hopefully, uh, it'll easier, but we also can have like a Zapier integration where we can create a dashboard. It's picking up some metrics and uploading real time.
Agreed. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
We have,
Um,
yeah, I had the open, I mean, the job description is pretty much the same. I had
There
both.
wasn't much wording wise
Yeah.
that he, recommended, like it was 99.9% of the way there, but we can feel good that we had someone with some HR
Mhm.
expansive background take a look at it and say this is good to go. So I think we're at a place where if y'all are comfortable, we can look at posting those jobs on Indeed and starting to draw in candidates. And then assuming that that is good with you all, then the next part of that is as we start to get candidates in, what our current process looks like for kind of pre-screening, interviewing, and ultimately selection of the right candidate. Like, what are we doing today? And is there any optimization that we could potentially do within it?
Mhm.
So what are
Yeah.
y'all's thoughts? Are y'all like game and ready to go on posting these? Or do you
Yeah,
want to wait until we have some of these other conversations with your team members first?
I
Are
mean,
you confident that we will hire the new person? They'll be good to go. What is the
nobody's gonna
training?
be good to go.
No, I'm just saying like
Like the
who's going
CNC
to
setup
train this
programmer,
person?
it's a person that it's gonna have the knowledge to do what it needs to be done. When it comes to sales estimator, that's something that you need to be learning. So these are SOPs that I have to finish and the sales team too.
But the
So
sales estimator, they will stay with who? Who's going to be the person to train this new team member?
they will stay with, or they will be shadowing Gil and Abel.
That's the thing. We have to be more specific. Who
Mhm.
is going to sit with who? The way we are doing now, it just it looks a mess. It's not that, okay, so now what are you gonna do? You're gonna watch these videos, you're gonna follow the instructions, and then when you're done, you're gonna sit down with, they have to know exactly what to do, especially the first week. I think we're gonna need to talk about this, you know what I mean? Like, once we bring the new team member, I don't want them to just, do whatever, just sit there and mimic,
Yeah, they have the 90-day plan.
Yeah, I mean, the onboarding plan,
It's a
which
90
Yeah,
it
the
day.
onboarding
encompasses their
plan.
training and shadowing
Yeah.
and like the kind of tell me, show me, let me, coach me model, is absolutely something that we need to kind of look at and finalize for these two roles.
Yeah.
Chances are, though, if we were to post the job, let's say today, tomorrow, or whatever, by the end of the week, you're not going to have somebody start the
Correct.
same day.
I know.
Right, there's going to be like the timeline where we do
Right.
have to screen them in some way. We need to have
True.
a kind of at least one formal interview with them. There needs to be an extension of a job offer. They need to accept the offer and then start.
Yep.
So in terms of stages, in my opinion, like the stage that we really need to focus on and close out and feel good about is that pre-screen through selection, because that's going to happen sooner. we should be working in the background on the onboarding plan so that we are ready to go. Like, who are they shadowing and how are they shadowing? What are they learning on day one through however many days of training there are? We need to be working on that, but we have a little bit longer for that than we do. Like, we could have a phone screen to do Monday. You know what I mean? Like, we need to know what it is that we're doing on that a little bit sooner than we need to know what we're doing on day one of their employment. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do y'all currently have a interview process?
Well, not really. I do have some questions based on our core values, the simple
Okay.
questions that I like. It depending on the candidate, I like to ask these questions. But no, so I really need your guidance. Like,
Can
what
you
is the
shoot
main?
that my way
Yeah,
so I can take a look at it?
of
And then
course.
I can like just review it. If I need to pull over the HR guy, I certainly
Nice.
will, but
Yep.
I've done, I don't know, a few thousand interviews in my career. So chances are I
Oh,
can
me too.
give you some directional advice on it. You know, I could just like shoot that back to you and we can kind of communicate back and forth via email. If we need to jump on another call even before our next touch base, which I want to ask about that as well, because it's currently scheduled for next Wednesday. If we need to have one before then, because we start getting candidates and hey, we're ready, we need to finalize this, like we can jump on a call whenever that may be and make sure we feel really good to start screening and interviewing those candidates and ultimately getting it down to a short list and who are we going to decipher and make an offer to.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, if you'll shoot that to me, that would be awesome. I'll
Will.
take a look at it and, you know, give me like 24 hours kind of a thing to look over
Yeah,
it and
sure.
like digest it and I'll get back to you. Cool. So that'll help. Do y'all feel good about like how to post the job on Indeed and like feel good to run on that, or would you like to do it together?
We have done, but I'm not sure if you guys do anything different, but yeah.
No,
as
we
far
I
as-
should see
Yeah.
one post, right? Like,
Yeah.
Okay. Do
we
y'all
can-
want to do a like, and tell me if you're not available or anything like that. Do y'all want to do another call like tomorrow morning together and get that posted? Maybe
we
both
have
of
a
them.
Patrick at 11 tomorrow,
Okay. I could
and
go right after that. So
tomorrow's
11.
Thursday, right? We have the 1 o'clock meeting with the team. Is that right? Someone told me the Thursday at 1 o'clock. Lucia and Gil, have you changed that?
No, I don't have
Why
this
is not on
on
my
my calendar.
calendar?
No, you just have Patrick at 11. That's what we have now.
So 11 to 12 your
No,
time.
yeah, no,
15
he says
minutes.
it's only 15 minutes just to go.
Oh, okay.
It's a
So
Before.
short meeting,
11,
so
let's say
11:30.
11:30,
Yeah,
just to be
11:30.
safe.
Yeah, 11:30 will work.
So 11:30 your time, you're 2 hours ahead of me would be 9:30 our time.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I could do 9:30 to 10:30. I mean, I doubt we would need a full hour. So maybe I'll put it on there for 30 to 45 minutes. And that way we get it posted, we can start pulling in some candidates through the weekend. Hopefully we get at least a few. We can start screening and interviewing beginning next week. Does that sound like a plan?
yeah.
Cool. So I'll shoot you over an invite for basically the same time slot tomorrow
11
morning, which would
tomorrow.
be 11:30 your time. Yep.
Okay, that's good.
Correct. All right. Awesome. I do need to wrap and head out to my doctor appointment.
Sure, yes.
Is there anything in addition to that that you want us to put on the agenda for tomorrow morning?
Well, Patricia is gonna get you the interview questions. That
questions.
way you have it at some point
Okay.
to start working on those, and we are looking into these. I want to get into the department metrics as well.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
try
if
to
we have
come up
time
with some.
tomorrow, I'd love to at least just begin the process of walking through that and talking through it together. And if we get a couple of them, awesome. And then y'all can like continue to work on it, you know, in the background, because I know you got some employee conversations to have over the next few days, and you got your normal day
Exactly.
to day. So this isn't the only thing you got going on. I get it. But the sooner we can identify those, then we can get to the kind of next step of the process.
Mhm.
Because I think that's going to help a lot, especially as we transition and pivot into next year when we're really going to try to hit the fast forward button on a lot of our stuff. We got to have these things in place so that when we hit that fast forward, we're not upsetting the cart, you know?
No, we definitely want to have this onboarding in place for each one of these positions. They'll be, somehow they're gonna have some common, common things to be done. We can even, I'll send Joe also,
Sure.
the one we did with Devin,
Oh, that's nice. So you can take a look.
the 90-day plan.
The
Once
30
Yeah,
hired.
that'd be great.
30 days, yeah,
Yeah.
30, 60, 90.
Yeah, because we use that, we use well, the ones you guys have, we use that one as
A template.
yeah, so that's what we used.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Actually,
shoot it
not
over
just
to me.
you. Yeah, so we get you the questions for the interview and also our
Onboarding
onboarding plan
for Devin.
for Devin and Jamel too. Because Devin was a programmer, so that's gonna be similar to what we're looking for right now. So that's gonna be a more,
Okay.
yeah, so Devin will be the one we want.
Sounds awesome. All right. Well, I will shoot over that invite and let's chat in the morning.
All
right,
right, Joe.
perfect.
So good luck on the doctors.
Thank you. I appreciate it. See you all in the morning.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.